Hello again. Let's hope that the microphone is now sufficiently high quality and there'll be no more complaints about muffled sound or anything of that sort. I'm not a huge fan of the poetry of Benjamin Zephania, whose work often sounds to me like nothing more than doggerel, but I was quite taken with the poem to which I give a link in the description to this video. It concerns what he calls the race industry. I was prompted to think about this when I found that a regular commenter on here, Ruwan Udowiraj Pereira, has been traducing me on his Facebook page and making the curious allegation elsewhere that I'm obsessed with race. This is the first time that I have mentioned by name any of the people commenting on here, because I don't like to hold people up to public ridicule, obviously. Otherwise it would discourage people from commenting. I'm only doing this because the man has said on a public Facebook account that I'm planning to harm him. He says that, and I quote, "I like to keep ahead of those who may wish to do me and people like me harm." This is a very serious allegation, and I want to take this opportunity to assure everybody publicly that I have no intention of harming either this man or indeed anybody else. He says that I am old, which is true. He says also that I'm a bigot, which is not true, and also that I'm an odious numpty, which is surely a matter of opinion rather than fact. The accusation that I'm obsessed with race is an exceedingly odd one for a man who has made a career out of race. I mean, for me it's a hobby, but for Ruwan it's been a full-time occupation for decades now. I thought it worth looking at his career a little, because he typifies a certain type of person who becomes mixed up in the race relations industry. Read Benjamin Zephania's poem and you'll see what I mean, what sort of person he's talking about here. I give a link to Ruwan Udowiraj Pereira's Facebook page so people can see what he and his friends have been saying about me. He's one of those people who constantly gives out personal details on the internet, so we know a lot about him from his own mouth. He says that he's partly Jewish. That's not really possible. If his mother was Jewish, he's Jewish, and if it was his father, then he's not Jewish. He also has Sri Lankan heritage, Sri Lanka being the native's name for what used to be Ceylon, or some of us still think of it as Ceylon. He helped found the National Black Police Association in Britain and later joined the Labour Party. But he found that there were so many other members of visible minorities in that party that he couldn't really make much of an impression. You know, I mean, he has a dark skin, but that's about all he has going for him. So he jumped ship and joined the Liberal Democrats. He soon found that in a party which he later described as being institutionally racist, he was swiftly able to rise to prominence as a chair of the ethnic minority Liberal Democrats. You might see a pattern emerging here. Mr. Udowiraj Pereira is not keen on people being obsessed with race, but everywhere he goes he seems to seek some racial division to exploit for the purposes of personal advancement. His LinkedIn profile describes him as a trainer of trainers in the field of equality, diversity and community cohesion, as well as community engagement. Trainer of trainers, it sounds a bit like King of Kings. Of course, all good things come to an end, and after being a councillor in southern England for the Liberal Democrats, he had to leave the party in rather a hurry, following allegations of intimidation, bullying and harassment. Twice. Following this, he jumped ship again, moved to Scotland and joined the Scots Nationalists. His Twitter account currently sports a tartan theme. This is a man who is precisely the kind described by Benjamin Zephania. For many years he's made a good living out of accusing others of racism. I'm bound to say that while he might have been able to bully, intimidate, and harass fellow members of the Liberal Party into submission, such tactics are really not going to work on me. According to his Facebook page, he complains about this channel every day in the hope of getting it taken down. Since he seemingly watches all my videos in the hope of being offended, I hope that he will see this and remove the comments which he has made on Facebook about the idea that I might wish to cause him harm. Unlike him, nobody has ever accused me of bullying and intimidation, and it seems a bit rich for him to try and suggest that I am cut from the same piece of cloth as he is.